Hey, it's your CEO, Weekend Gabe, and thanks for watching Weekend at Gabe's. We hope that you enjoy this latest episode. While you're here, hit the subscribe button and follow us on YouTube. Thanks for watching. All right, back to the show. Give us a follow on these socials at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Listen, it always brings me tears of joy when we have fellow Columbia College Chicago alums sliding through Weekend at Gabe's, and we have a good one tonight. Mugen the Human is on with us to talk about his new EP, For Her Consideration, that is currently on all DSPs, and he also has a new single with Coldwater titled Lose. Joining us now, Mugen the Human. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. It's great to be here.
Appreciate you so much, man. For Her Consideration, let me tell you, I hope to never be a fake drug dealer who has a hot-looking girl, because I know you're just going to be in her ear telling her how trash I am. So I see you out there on your LL Cool J, watching from a distance, hey lover type vibing. What's going on with you and the ladies, man? Just trying to tell people to keep it real and, keep making sure the women stay honest, that they know what they're getting.
Man, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I try to call out everybody a little bit, including myself, about like staying honest about who you're with and making sure you shoot in your range and stuff like that. Making sure you're not putting on the front for nobody. You know what I mean? Like I always try to like call out the bullshit that I see from a distance. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like for real, I was just having fun, talking a little bit of smack for real, as I do sometimes. So.
Mission accomplished, sir. Mission accomplished.
No, I think that's a great place to start, because in an interview in 2020, you mentioned that a little bit. You like to have fun with the music, but you also mentioned that your sound is all over the place, and I think that's maybe a byproduct of like having fun with it, which I really respect. Ultimately, do you feel like For Her Consideration, on the other hand, I think has almost a central theme where it sounds a little different than your other projects. It's leaning towards pop. We get the vocal side of Mugen beyond the rap voice that we know and love. Is that something you still feel 2 years later about your sound, that you don't necessarily have a sound? You feel like a little bit of a chameleon in that sense?
That's exactly what I describe myself as, like a musical chameleon, like word for word. With this project, like I said, I really did want to have some fun. I've been told before that I don't make a lot of love songs, so like this was kind of my way to like give people love songs, still give people something that they can vibe and like maybe jam out a little bit to. Still talk a little bit of smack here and there, which I'm known for, and just really like give a different side of myself conceptually as well as musically, for one. And I would definitely say that like I'm still a bit of a chameleon. Like I still don't think I have a very like describable sound or a categorizable sound, since I'm constantly different things, and you really never know what you're gonna get from me with each release. As we see with Lose, like Lose is completely different.
Right.
For Consideration, and it's really like just like the boom bap lo-fi stuff I'm known for. So it was just really cool to take an opportunity to just like showcase a different side of myself on songs that are completely mine. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't features or anything. So yeah, like I definitely wanted to take the opportunity to do that.
I know you came into making music, and like you said, your sound is like really like undescribable. It's unique in its own sense. And in the interview you did with I think it was with the Columbia College folks, you said that you're not thank you.
I got it. Yeah.
That you're not a total hip hop fan, and so you're not handcuffed to what folks think that a hip hop artist should be, because you don't really subscribe to that. But has that evolved over the last couple of years as you continue to make music and you become more comfortable with your voice as an MC? Do you feel like you're kind of falling into any sort of hip hop trends, or is that the difficulty of trying to steer away from what's happening?
A bit of both. Like I think if you're trying to be good, a good artist in any genre, you have to study what's being done. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people try to steer away from what's like, they try to steer away from what's contemporary and what's happening. But I think that's like a very ignorant thing to do. You should know what's going on, and hopefully it inspires you. And I'm very inspired by the stuff that's going on. Like some of the artists that inspire for consideration are Che Romani. What's his name? He goes by the name like JSSR. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce that either, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But he like those two are some huge inspirations. What's my name? Bandman Real, from outside of New York. I think he's from Jersey. Actually, believe it or not, for Wanted began as a remix of a Bandman Real song with a similar flip on the sample. But I was like, man, my shit is hard. Like, I need to make some money off this. I need to press off this. Like, this needs to be my thing. So I literally made my own original song, used the exact same verse, and put it out there. But I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, there's so many different forms of hip hop. There's so many different genres of music that, like, I could never pigeonhole myself into one specific category. Like, my two favorites of all time are the Gorillaz and John Mayer.
Right.
So that right off the bat, like, no matter how much I rap, like, no matter how much I produce hip hop beats, like, there's always gonna be some sort of eclectic twist to what I do. And I think with what's going on right now in hip hop, I think, you know, the best who are doing what they do right now also have eclectic tastes and are bringing that into what they make. So there's no way I couldn't be inspired.
Oh yeah. So let's wind the clock back a little bit. Obviously, you are now Chicago-based. Worked with Columbia and AEMP Records on that one. But originally from PG County, Maryland, the whole DMV scene. Take us back to that Mugen. You know, the just starting out Mugen. I know from several interviews that you were first a guitarist that turned rapper. So how does it start for you back in the day?
Man, it starts like music starts at 6 years old. I was just taking guitar lessons outside of, like, you know, music and arts. I was traveling out of music and arts, man, like from a very young age, and you know, still playing sports and stuff like that, but music kind of just stuck. So in high school, I decided to go to Baltimore School for the Arts. So I'm actually classically trained in guitar and everything, and like classical repertoire and history and stuff like that, which is not the most fun thing, but it's.
You telling me you got the music theory on deck, you know?
All that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Bach, Rachmaninoff, Stravinsky, Tchaikovsky, all that stuff, bro. Like, it's made me, like I said, it's made me very well-rounded, very knowledgeable about certain things that I think a lot of artists don't have, and I think that's just due to a lack of resources in many cases. Like, I was definitely grateful. I'm grateful and I'm blessed to go where I went to school, so that I would be as rounded of a musician as I am. But I actually didn't start like producing and getting into pop really until like my later years in high school. Like, I started producing junior year, and that's where this comes in. I just started producing on GarageBand and DJ.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get into that for sure. But that's really where it started, and then, you know, just making beats that people didn't rap on, so I did. Come 2016, I'm about to move out to Chicago. I had like started making a couple songs, and, you know, once I came here, kind of the rest is history for real.
Word.
What was the first iPhone that you started tampering with or modifying?
Got attracted by the iPhone series.
Yeah,
code,
was it the X? Was it the XR? Was it the 9?
No,
I don't know.
way before that. He was probably trapped on the
that maybe like 5, like the 5 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, man, I've been going for a little minute because I'm on a 12 now. So
Yep.
Yeah, like 5-6 iPhones ago is about when I started. Itty bitty. Like, compared to what we have now, they were itty bitty. So yeah. Like, way back when.
What do you get from that? From making music on your phone? Like, why do that? Why even start there? You're a classically trained guitarist. You're talking about Rachmaninoff was not making music off of his fucking phone. So why?
Man, just because why not? For real, you know what I'm saying? Like, the one message I have as an artist is like, not making any excuse. Like, we literally walk around with the world at our fingertips. Like, literally, it's in your pocket.
Sure.
So I just really want to show people that you can utilize the tools that you have to create things that speak to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Apple for still to this day updating GarageBand, giving us new sounds, giving us new loops. Like, they really do some cool things on there. And I think there are other apps like BandLab that do what GarageBand does a lot better. There's also Koala, which is very good for like sample heavy production. I really stick to GarageBand, but there's so many options for you to use out here to create like industry level stuff if you really put your mind to it. And I think a perfect example and a big inspiration for me is Steve Lacy. Like, they literally have his iPhone in the museum. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, anything possible. Like, you can really create something that speaks to people, that's, you know, inspirational. Is just like you can create timepieces just all on something that, you know, just sits in your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're gonna spend a lot of time on our phones, like, we might as well create something. So at that point, like, I just really want to show people how far you can push this for real, and myself.
And just to piggyback off that, one of the quotes in the other interview was, "No matter how it's made, it deserves to be heard." A little bit. Yeah. Can you expand on that? Because it's one thing to create something, but I know a lot of artists who would be really protective about those MP3s. They wouldn't want to release those. They'd be like, no. Let me get to the studio with some studio time so I can flesh out this idea. Right. But you are very transparent about sharing this. Very transparent about telling people that it's made off the phone. And it all sounds great too, which is a feat in and of itself. So maybe you can expand on why it deserves to be heard after the making of the thing.
Well, I think, like, you have to look at it as deserving to be listened to, like, as an artist. Like, if you don't think your music is worth people listening to, why put it out? And then in the same vein, like, if your intention isn't to put it out, why make it at all? You have no idea how good your music is or how bad it is until somebody tells you. You know what I'm saying? And then even at that point, if you think your shit is great, your shit is your one person out of however many that might hear it. But at the end of the day, your opinion matters just as much. But I do think it's important to just get it out there. It doesn't really matter if it's made on your phone, on a computer, in a studio, whether it's in somebody's crib or if you got to go and pay for studio times. It really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I mean, there are motherfuckers that, like, literally will drop every single penny they have on 2 hours of studio time and do the worst thing you've ever heard. And then there's people who are literally in their mom's cars, like I am, on BandLab, just making songs because they're bored, and literally some of them have millions of streams now, and they're hits. So it doesn't really matter, like, how you do it. 1,000 people do. At the end of the day, as long as you took the time to create something and you put it out, like, that is all that matters. Because a lot of people aren't able to take that step at the end of the day.
Hell yeah.
So I assume that your venture to Chicago is because you were going to school here.
Yes.
How did your experience at Columbia? Because I think you were studying business management. Is that was your major? Yeah. Music business management. So how did that experience of getting a look into the paperwork and the process of getting your music out, because now you're under your own label or your own profile on the music that's being released under your own name. So how did that help you take this raw talent, and now that you have this skill set to distribute it so far to the world from your phone? Like, how did that help build you as an artist and also as a professional artist?
Man, it's helped a lot. It contextualizes everything I was kind of learning on the fly. Because, you know, I like a lot of people, I just started dropping stuff on SoundCloud, just praying people would come across it and praying that I was doing something that they liked. And then obviously at the same time in the class, I'm learning about entertainment law, learning about record deals and stuff like that, distribution deals. But man, like, I'm still independent. I'm still like using all this in house. And at this point, I would say what Columbia has done is made me very like
Sorry.
selective.
You said it.
Yeah, no, I'm gems. You know what I'm saying? I'll drop these gems I'm really about to like, because like man, like it's made me very selective with like trying to I guess figure out what I want to do to finally quote unquote break into a mainstream space, or like deciding whether or not I want to start like signing contracts with companies and stuff like that. And for a while, I would say maybe like a year or two ago, I really felt like that was where I was meant to be. Like at that point, I thought like, okay, like I need to be signing distribution deals, or like your label should be hitting me up. Like, what's the deal? Like I'm out here getting numbers. I'm out here doing shows and stuff like that with my friends. Like, and we're now my collective. Like we got hundreds of people coming to our shows. Like what's the deal? Like what's going on? And the pandemic ended up happening, right? So obviously I had to go back to the drawing board a little bit, and I realized like, nah, I was not ready back then. And even the stuff that I learned at Columbia, I really wasn't retaining it that I am now, because I've been able to take it back and realize that all the things that my teachers were telling me, a lot of people did not know, and a lot of people that have signed these deals now aren't really in situations that aren't the best for them. You know what I'm saying? And I would have been in that same position had I maybe jumped at opportunities too early. So I would definitely say my time at Columbia was like absolutely well spent, aside from just like getting connects and stuff like that and meeting people that have been able to help me get to where I got to. Yeah, man, just learning what not to do is really like the most important thing to know in this industry. Knowing when and when not to pull certain triggers. I think that's integral, man. Columbia definitely showed me that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Word.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the collective a little bit. MP3.com, a collective that I strolled across maybe 6 months ago and thought it was one artist, but saw y'all out at the Real One show the other night, and y'all rolled deep. Y'all are all well represented in that room. So maybe just give us a little breakdown. Obviously, you got the new record out with Cold Water. So where those friendships were formed and how that set up.
Man, like really started at Columbia for real. Columbia is like a big uniting part of it. Me and Don Orphan, that was how we met up through Instagram. Actually, we found out we were going to Columbia before I even moved out here. So once that happened, we just agreed to meet up. We ended up meeting up, and just ever since, like past few years, we've just met more and more people as we've started to create music and started showcasing it as well. Like eventually we meet Aubrey from Stranded Civilians. We meet a couple of his friends from Evanston. Eventually we meet Mohit. I met him in class at Columbia, and Latif was also going to Columbia at times. So first time I go over to Mo's crib, he brings Latif, and just like more and more we just build and we build and we build and we build. And first we started as friends, and it just kind of made sense to like just become a collective. People were already seeing us in events together, and just seeing us pop up to their events together. It really did just make sense. You know what I mean? Just to give a name to like this group of friends that loves making music together for real. You know what I mean? Eventually, actually, my homie Hunter, who's behind the computer playing Overwatch right now, like that's somebody else that like just like I said, just we've all just been in the right place at the right time, and we've all like just really resonated with each other on just a friendly level. So at that point, creating just comes naturally for real. And I don't think there's anybody who you can create like better stuff with than your friends. You know what I'm saying? So there's cool things on the way from us.
That's a goddamn gem. I'm giving that one a round of applause. Real quick. That was incredible.
All right. Well, I want to get into, I know there's a lot that we got to get into in a little bit of time we have left, but I wanted to ask a little bit sort of about your dad life. How has that changed you?
Yeah.
How has that evolved you? Has that made you hungrier to make sure that this works out? Because I've been there. I was when I had my first my first child when I was a senior at Columbia, and that just sort of just like really like made me want to go so much harder to make sure that this worked out. So how has that affected you?
You hit the nail on the head, man. Like from the moment I found out I was going to be a dad, like it recontextualized everything for me, and just it's made me hold myself to a higher standard for what I drop. Like I can't have no boy out here who's finna grow up and like has a trash dad. You know what I'm saying? Like especially when it comes to you, like
Right.
I ain't finna embarrass him. You know what I mean? Like this has
Absolutely.
gotta work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I come at it. Like this got to work. You know, and I'm on my own path. Other artists are on their own path, so I see where I'm at as exactly where I need to be in a given moment. So I'm not jaded about where I'm at. All I am is just hopeful because I know like I'm driven for it. You know what I'm saying? At this point, my success um, doesn't have just one person dependent on it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like it's me and Little Man. So I gotta go hard. I gotta go strong. You know what I'm saying? Like if people were sick of me at one point, they just finna get sicker because I ain't going nowhere. Like this is gonna work. And the music, you know what I'm saying? Like the music speaks for itself. Like whether you know it now or you gonna find out, like it don't matter. The music speaks for itself. And shout out to my guys. You know what I'm saying? If it's not me, it's gonna be one of them. And the plan is to just bring up the collective at the end of the day. So. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going nowhere. Little man got to eat, and little man got to be ready.
I hear that.
I love that. Before we get into some fun questions here, I got two quick ones. Number one, for somebody who doesn't really watch all that much anime, what's up with that mask you got on stage, bro? On the side of your head and shit.
Yeah, man. So that's a hollow mask from Bleach, Ichigo's hollow mask specifically. And man, R.I.P. Doom, bro. Like that's my little way of paying homage. You know what I'm saying? Like
Love it.
I don't always wear it. I'm not always pictured with it. Um, but it's funny because I have a project titled Ghost, and the concept of a hollow is pretty much like, you know, a spirit that couldn't find peace before it moved on. And that was kind of how I was feeling when I made that project. You know, and like I said, it's also just my way to pay homage to a rapper that like I would not be here without. You know what I mean? Like
Word.
everything I do is for like Doom, Dilla, and Nujabes. Like it's those three for real.
It is still a day, or at least at the time that we're recording this, at the
Big
time that
facts.
we will be airing this, it will be your birthday.
Yep.
And as such, on your name day, could you explain, before we get into some fun questions, the name, Mugen,
Yes.
Mugen the Human?
So once again, R.I.P. Dilla, R.I.P. Nujabes. I believe they died on the same day. They were either born on the same day, died on the same day, but it don't matter because we're all Aquarius and they have very similar production styles. And Nujabes was the Japanese hip hop artist that did the soundtrack for an anime called Samurai Champloo. And when I watched it, I was just like fully inspired. And I had been an anime fan for a long time at that point. But it had just so happened that it coincided with when I started producing. So it was kind of like my way of paying homage to them to pick the name Mugen, which is the name of the main character, which also is the Japanese word for infinite. You know what I'm saying? However, the human was just because there's too many Mugens out there. I had to be different. And it kind of rhymes, Mugen the human.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it rolls off the tongue pretty nice.
I like it. I like it.
So, yeah.
I like it. All right, Gabe. Anything else before I get into this
No.
extensive bit of research that I did?
No.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh
wait, no! I got one real quick question.
Go,
I'm sorry, real quick. All right,
get into this.
All right, real quick. You posted a photo of the Alchemist listening to your music last year.
Oh man.
What was that experience like? Really quickly.
Shout out my homie Shay, another MP3 member, dog. Like we just pulled up to that little meet and greet, and when I say all I wanted was like a picture and an autograph, like that was really all I wanted. Like I love I love his production. You know what I'm saying? He a legend. I just wanted to fangirl a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like that was it. But we were like some of the last people in line. So my homie Shay was like, bro, I'm not letting you leave here without you playing something for him. And I was like, no. They're not even gonna let me back in. Blah, 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 blah. my boy is hella convincing. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, find out who your real friends are because, man, like, I played something for Alk and he loved it. I actually played Motive, which wasn't out at the time. It is now. And yeah, he said he really liked it. You know what I'm saying? Not too much has come of that at this point, but like just having that like validation from somebody who like really inspires me.
Right.
You know, it's crazy. And he did tell me to send him something. Like I was not expecting like a email back or response or anything, but like getting that was like, I mean, man, I'm still riding that high. And actually, so I haven't told a lot of people that. So I will give y'all like one gem for this.
Okay.
Man, like over the summer, man, like I also had the opportunity to meet Madlib at Robert Glasper's festival in Napa Valley, the Blue Note Festival. And man, like I just want to say that was just like another just like bucket list experience. It was crazy. It just inspired me a lot. And I try my best not to like share too many of them stories, but like at the end of the day, like I just want to show people like, that's man, I'm doing this shit off my phone, bro. Like if you really if you are thinking about starting, bro, do it. And it does not matter how you do it. Like you can really be in these right spaces and like you can really like meet your idols. You can really like show them something that is worth listening to. Just like don't hold yourself back. So yeah, I just had to share that.
I sincerely hope for the good of the people that when you met Madlib, you did not create a song together that he will not release, but also play at some event 23 years from now. Madlib, if you're watching, drop Maclib. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. Anyways, let's get into some fun questions. We always like to have some fun at the end of the show here. Are you familiar with the game Street Fighter?
Of course.
Okay. Did you know that the game engine is in like the code that makes Street Fighter playable is entitled Mugen? And it is one of the very first open source pieces of software that was available on the internet, which has since made the game Street Fighter legendary because you can do all kinds of shit once you have the engine that's free and easy to use. You can put in Michael Jackson versus Michael Jordan in a Street Fighter battle. You can do all kinds of wild shit. It is an ongoing project, continues to be updated to this day since 2003. Yep. But on the back of that, interesting tidbit of information that had nothing to do with you when I looked at it this morning.
Big fact.
3 questions from me.
It can't all be
Number 1. If you could be the game engine to a music project, and I say music project because I don't know if that's a band or it's a rapper or it's whatever you want to contextualize it as, but not your own music project. You get to be the game engine for somebody else, something else. Who would you pick?
Off the Wall.
Off the Wall?
Jackson. Yeah, easy.
Nice.
Easy.
Okay.
Easy.
That's a big pick. We like that. The open sourceness of Mugen also stuck with me because I don't know, something about open source and like if you make a game, you don't actually have to give people like the game engine, if you make something on your phone, you don't necessarily have to release it to the masses, but it's something that you do because it makes you accessible and relatable to these people. So how do you try to incorporate, how is Mugen the human open source? Let me put it like that.
I'm very open with my process. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much everything I use to make my music is free. So I can definitely be seen as like a resource for people trying to get into music. Even if your intention is to take it off the phone, take it to a computer, take it to a studio, or if you want to outsource and have somebody else do your production and your engineering, I can at least be like your like starting point to see what you can create by yourself with just time and dedication for real. I actually have a TikTok where I explain how I made Motive, the song I played for Alchemist. So yeah, like if you just tap in, I'm absolutely an open source. You just gotta tap in.
Hey, I love it. And final question from me for the night. Since we're talking Street Fighter, if you could fight any rapper in not necessarily a Street Fighter battle, but any sort of anime style fight scene, who would it be? This one's limited to rappers, but I did have like a fantasy of you versus the entire group of the gorillas. When I came up with the question this morning, I was like, man, that would be pretty sick.
Bro, if Russell don't beat the brakes off me, Noodle definitely gonna beat the brakes off me because he's damn near an anime character. Like, there's no way Mugen is not canonically washing her. Like, it's not happening, bro. Who would I want to fight? I'm trying to think. Who be pissing me off? Let me think, man. A rapper specifically, I don't know, man. Maybe like Token or something. I don't know. Like,
okay.
I don't know. Maybe I feel like I could take Token. I don't know why. No diss to Token. You just came up. Oh no, my fault. I ain't gonna do Token like that. Tom McDonald. I beat him. I don't care how buff he is. Yeah, come on now.
Hey, I'm backing you. I'm backing you in that fight.
No, I will muster something I didn't even know I had in me to make that. Like, absolutely, he's the one. For sure.
All right, I got two quick fun questions. You're from PG County in Maryland. That's correct, right?
Yes.
It's Prince George, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Prince George County was the wealthiest black county in Maryland up until recently. Now, Charles County has that title. Question: are you going to bring back your rap wealth to beat PG County to supersede Charles County to be once again the wealthiest black county in Maryland?
I don't think it's a coincidence that Mugen left and then that statistic changed.
Definitely. Feels like your wallet.
Don't do that. You're setting a wild precedent. That's a wild precedent to set for me. Man, like that's a crazy question. But absolutely. Like one of the things that I tell my folks all the time is that I want to be able to go back and continue to build upon like the arts resources in the county. I want to go back and I want to open up multiple centers just for like creative expression, whatever that may be. And I want to be able to open up venues for the young cast to like host their own events, whatever those may be. So that way, you know what I'm saying? Like they can stay off the streets. They can do something other than play sports, because playing sports is like, that's like the big thing. Not even just in PG, but like just in the DMV in general, like sports is heavy, but there's definitely a growing presence and a growing demand for the arts. So that's definitely something that we need. And I'm hoping I'm not the one to do it. Like there's plenty of other artists who are getting shine. I hope honestly they do it first. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing too is like, man, we don't have a lot of like good sneaker stores out there that get like the exclusive stuff. And I'm a big sneakerhead. I want to give the youth out there an easy way to find like a way to like attain some of the more like special edition Jordans and stuff like that. Cause like that's another big thing we're known for. We're known for like shoe game and stuff like that. And I just want to make sure that like the youth don't have to worry about raffles and botters and grown ass men with kids lining up to get one pair of Jordans. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason. We're
looking at you, Weekend Gabe. We're looking at you.
Listen, my shoe game needs to improve impeccably.
But I'm one of you now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm one of you now. But that's the thing. Like I remember being young, and I remember like how important that was for us. And I just like for the young cats, and I just want to make sure that like they have a safe space to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because there still has to be room for the older cats like us. But at the end of the day, like the youth is what drives everything. And they have to be able to feel safe in just finding ways to express themselves through their wear and not having to worry about like all the hurdles and bullshit for real. But yeah.
All right. Last question. Rumor has it that you are now taking eggs as collateral for doing guest features. So, well, how much would it cost for me to jump on the joint with you? Like a dozen eggs, 2 dozen? Like, what's the going rate of eggs do I need to get
Gabe
a guest
is a
feature?
bad rapper, so you should.
I am the best bad rapper. Sam, don't underplay it. I'm the best bad rapper.
Hey, I like that. Yes, sir. If you gonna be the best at something, be the best at something. Period.
Hey, we'll send you the link to the work, and you decide. All right,
But well, to send me actually for consultation, that's half a dozen.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Fair enough.
Let's have a dozen off bat.
You know what I mean? For a full feature, if you want like a 16, how about just this 1 egg per bar, 16 eggs. Now, if you can find a package with 16 eggs specifically,
roughly $9.
17
exactly.
eggs. He doesn't want 18 eggs, 24 eggs. No,
16
16
I got a
eggs.
deal going on. You know what I'm saying? It's my birthday, bro. It's Black History Month.
25 eggs. There you go. 25 eggs. I got you. 25 eggs. All right. Well, Mugen, thank you so much for joining us on Weekend at Gabe. This was so much fun. The new EP for Her Consideration is out there on all digital streaming platforms. Run those numbers up. Put some money in that man's pocket. We look forward to hearing more from you. Hopefully, with maybe an Alchemist beat or a Madlib beat in the future. Who knows?
Tell him hit me back.
I will tweet it and see where it goes, but I don't know how much that's gonna help. But I will try.
I'll swoop in. You know what I'm saying? Then
But
do what I can do too.
Listen, but Weekend Gabe tweets are 2 eggs. So just if we're gonna play that game,
I'm gonna have to re-up.
Major, big time. All right, Mugen, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all.
All right, salute.
Much love.
Thanks for watching this latest episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you're looking for more, click on any of the episodes swirling around my head. And also, don't forget to follow us on the socials at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. All right, thanks for watching, y'all.